Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create a pivot table. And what I have here is I have the 2013 version of Excel. In this version, what you're going to do is you're going to click inside of your data set. So you click somewhere inside of the data set, and you're going to go to the tab up top. You see you have File, Home. You're going to go to the Insert tab. Going to click on Insert, and we're going to insert a pivot table. So we're going to click this button. It's going to come up with this dialog box. All right, and because we clicked inside of the data set, it actually suggests the data set. So you see it has the dashed line around the data set. And I'm going to choose to put the pivot table in a new worksheet. So I'm going to click OK. And here is the next worksheet. This is the fourth worksheet. Um, this is my pivot table over here, and I have over here the fields that were in at the top of my columns here, the actual variables here. So I have the student ID, I have the height of the student, I have the weight of the student, the age of the student, the gender of the student, whether the student was full-time or part-time, and the race of the student for a set of 100 students. So I have all the way down to student 100. And notice that the student IDs, they're actually alphanumeric, meaning they begin with letters. Um, that's so that I can use them to count in the pivot table. If you don't have them as alphanumerics like this, what will happen is when you create your pivot table, it'll actually sum up the values of the student ID, which actually have no meaning. So I create the student ID as a string. All right, anyway, so here are all those variables: ID number, height, weight, age, gender, part-time, full-time status, and race. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a pivot table with, let's do gender and race first. So I'm going to drag and drop gender, and I'm going to put gender in the rows. So I'm going to drop gender right here in the row. And you see now my pivot table has rows that represent gender. The genders are female, so I'm going to type the rest of that word. And the next one will be male. And NR is actually the people who did not respond. So that is no response. No response. All right. So there I have all the categories for my gender. All right. So click back into the pivot table and it comes back up with a little window here. And I'm going to cross match gender with race. So I'm going to put race in the columns. So I'm putting race in the columns, and here we are. We have the first race. A represents Asian. B represents black. Uh, let's see. H represents Hispanic. NR once again was no response. No response. And W was white. All right, and then we have grand totals for the rows and for the columns. So there we have the things that we're going to tally up in here. And I click back in the actual pivot table, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those ID numbers. Remember the ones I discussed I had to make alphanumeric, and I'm going to make those the values. You see, if those values were numeric, what it would do, it would sum up the values. But because they contain letters, what it's going to do is just going to count them. Oops. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take ID and I'm going to drag it and I'm going to drop it down here where it says value. So I drag it and drop it right down here where it says value. So what it's doing is I have gender in the rows, female, male, no response. I have race in the columns, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, no response. And what it's doing is it's counting the number of, for instance, Asian female students. Asian female students, there would be two. There's one Asian male, and there's one Asian student who did not respond as far as gender was concerned. That's four total Asian students. And across here, I have two female black students, two, or sorry, 16 female black students, two Asian female students, 16 female Hispanic students, and so forth, and 61 total female students. And here it shows the grand total of 100 students. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these, and I'm just going to paste them down here. And I'm going to show you how we can change that a little bit. So here I have that table. Let's go back into the pivot table. Let's say we don't want race on the in the columns. Let's say in the columns we actually want I don't know, full-time, part-time status. Well, let's go ahead and delete race, remove field, and then just put in full-time, part-time status. Drag it there, and now the columns represent whether the student is either full-time, full-time, or part-time, or part-time. And there we have a different table. So you can do this with whichever variables you want that are qualitative variables. This doesn't work great with the quantitative variables unless you're trying to sum them. But there you have it. Those are the pivot tables.